Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Level Up Your Mental. My name is Ariel, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor. And today I wanted to talk about how getting too comfortable can affect your mental health. There are a lot of times that I've seen people will stay in their comfort zone because that is what makes them feel safe. So a lot of times people will stay in their comfort zone because that's what they feel is the safest for them. But we know that when you stay in your comfort zone, you are not growing. There are so many opportunities and so many things that we can do in life that we will choose not to do because we're scared or we don't know about what's going to happen, what the outcome's going to be, the unknown, or how we are going to respond. Anything, a lot of times that we have seen from people who have been very successful, they had to step out of their comfort zone. They had to go to places that they didn't even think of, different opportunities, different things that they had to overcome. But you have to understand, when you go through all these things, they teach you a lesson. They teach you things to be able to put back into your life. But when you stay in one place and you're stagnant and you don't make any progression, it's going to be very hard for you to learn things, to grow. In regards to being too comfortable, what I usually see is people will make a lot of excuses as to why they can't leave the places that they are. And I'm not talking just physically, I'm talking mentally, emotionally, just everything in general. A lot of times people will not take job opportunities because they're afraid of how they're going to show up, if they're going to be good enough, if the job is going to be too much for them. A lot of times this goes with people not wanting to move. They're very comfortable in their neighborhood. They've been there for years. They know all the stores. They know everything. And a lot of times they say, well, I don't want to go somewhere where nobody is there, where I have to relearn everything, and just that uncomfortability. And a lot of times I will see people will say that it just seems as if people don't want to be uncomfortable. People don't like to have to face the unknown and have to deal with that. And so they'll make a lot of excuses. They'll stay where they are, even though their comfort zone or the place where they are is giving them comfort. But at the same time, I see that it also gives people stress. It also gives people just a lot to go through, depending on what your comfort zone is for you. I think in regards to your comfort zone being like you staying at home and not wanting to move out, and I'm not saying because you financially can't do it. I'm saying like you have a good job, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, but you're comfortable in your house because you're worried about, how things are going to be when you go out there and you have to pay your own bills, or you have to have your own home and what that takes to be able to deal with that. But a lot of it really is that we have the resources to be able to help you. If anything, this is probably one of the greatest times to go out and do things, because we have all of the resources at the tip of our fingers. Everything is right there in order for us to, get some type of help in whatever it is that we feel is holding us back. In regards to being comfortable, that comes with having a stable routine, avoiding challenges, staying in familiar situations. You don't want to step up to the plate and do something different because of however it makes you feel or however you think it's going to make you feel. But the problem is that when you stick with a job or a relationship that doesn't fulfill you, or you stay in your hometown for years and you just avoid new opportunities, at the end of the day, a lot of times what I see from people and what I hear from them is that they are filled with a lot of regret. They are filled with, just a lot of sadness in regards to not being able to do the things that they wanted to do because they were scared. And I always hear from older people who are, are a little bit wiser, will tell you, go out and do the things that you want to do, take pictures, memories, and everything else, because we only have one life. Once a year is gone, that year is gone, and you only have the next couple of ones in front of you. So you need to make the best of your time, in regards to nobody's rushing you, but at the same time, do the travel, go to other places, take the opportunity. Even if you don't feel like you're ready in it yourself, the person who is extending that and telling you to go ahead and do it, or presenting you that opportunity, clearly sees that you are capable and ready for it. So why would you want to hold yourself back and not push forward and do it if the people around you feel like you're capable for it? Sometimes we tend to hold ourselves back because we are our own self-critic. We tend to put a lot of negative comments into ourselves, and it's kind of like, like I always say, we already get a lot of negativity, a lot of feedback from the world. Why would you want to be your own negative self-critic? You want to be your own motivator. Even in the days where where it's very, very hard, you want to push yourself to be able to get out of the comfort and, build the resilience, be strong, experience new things, and be able to see what the world has for you, because you never know where you can go. And nobody wants to force anybody to get out of their comfort zone, but I think it's something for you to think about if you feel like you've been in the same place for a while and there hasn't been any progression for you. I think in that point, it's kind of like you got to figure out what you want to do. Do you kind of just want to stay where you're at, or do you really feel like you want to do something but you're scared? Because like I always say, fear is a normal human emotion. It's okay to be scared, but there is two different types of scared, as far as, the fear where, something is coming at you and you're scared because of what's happening. And then there's that fear of like the unknown, and you don't know what's going to happen. And so your body is automatically coming up with automatic thoughts trying to protect you because you're telling it that you're scared. And so now you're coming up with all these different things, scenarios and stuff in your head. And so it tries to, push you in a sense of staying where you are because it's trying to protect you. But you have to be the stronger person and have that relationship with your thoughts and understand that you don't need to be fused with your thoughts. Your thoughts is one thing and you are another. Just because you're thinking about something doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. And if we continue to just wait for our thoughts and everything else to tell us what to do, then we will never get to the point where we will be able to achieve some type of success or be able to grow. We have to push through that comfort and let our body and our brain know, like, yeah, we're scared, but that's okay. When we get there, we will cross that bridge and be able to deal with it. But the more that you just continue to hold yourself back, the less opportunities that you will be presented. And, the more in regards to you won't be able to learn from other opportunities and things that you could be presented with. I say that to say there is a positive side of comfort. I don't want to make it seem as if being in your comfort zone is a terrible bad thing, but being comfortable provides you with a sense of safety, a sense of peace of mind. And that's something that we all want. That's why a lot of people really have comfort in their homes. That's the one place where they find peace. And there are other people that have a comfort place outside of their home. And in regards to your own mental health, your comfort essentially gives you a place to recover from stress, from burnout. It helps you to maintain balance. So comfort isn't all the way bad. It could be something that is positive. The problem is when the comfort gets to the point where you're stagnant and you're not moving and you're avoiding growth because you're scared. I think that that's when it becomes a problem of you just relying on that comfort and not wanting to get to a point of being able to do better. In order for us to learn things, we have to be uncomfortable and put ourselves in positions that, we will have to experience things. I remember when I was first starting out as a counselor in my internship, and I had to work the suicide hotline. You know how uncomfortable that was for me as a first starting out counselor, especially as an intern, and having to answer people who were really down in the depths and was calling because they were at their worst, and how much pressure that put onto me. And I hated that. I couldn't stand it. And the reason why I hated it was because it was something new to me. It wasn't anything that I've ever done before. And not only that, the fear for me also was I didn't want to mess up. And I think for a lot of people, that's where a lot of the fear comes from, is that we're scared that we're going to mess up and we're going to make mistakes. But that's life. You're going to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. You actually learn from your mistakes, if anything. So you have to be willing to understand that, yeah, I'm going to mess up, and be okay with messing up. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, and be okay with that thought process. At the end of the day, when you get to that point, you will figure out what to do, but you cannot stop yourself because you're afraid of what's going to happen, or you feel like you're not good enough. If you want something to happen, you will make it happen. And if you really, really want something, you will go out and make the opportunities for it. But if you are too scared and you're just letting your comfort hold you back, it definitely will affect you, and it definitely affects your mental health. Like I've said before, as far as staying stagnant, you don't really get a lot of opportunities for self-improvement, learning, achieving new goals. You get a lot of anxiety, fear of change. The longer that you stay in your comfort zone, the harder it becomes to face change. And sometimes in life, change does not wait for you. Things will happen and you have to change and you have to adapt to your environment or whatever it is that you're going through. But if you keep pushing yourself and doing things, when change comes around, it won't be as intense for you because you know, oh, I've been around this before. The circumstance might be different, but the whole overall being of change is still there. And so, you know, the other thing is that it brings down our it affects your resiliency, right? So when you stay in your comfort zone without challenges, you're not going to be able to develop coping skills for adversity, for you know, things that are going to cause a change and cause a rift in your life, because everybody goes through something. People might go through things differently, but we all go through things in life that are very difficult for us, and something that's difficult for me might not be for you, but at the end of the day, we all go through something that's difficult. But if you don't push yourself to be able to go through those things and deal with those emotions in that circumstance, you are more vulnerable to stress, because everything is going to stress you out. Everything is going to feel like it's a lot for you because you haven't pushed yourself to really experience life and what it means to get out of that comfort zone. And so, you know, it also becomes very repetitive and very boring being in your comfort zone. You want to go out and do things that make you happy, things that you dream of, the things that you see all the time. And I tell people, you know, it's cliche, but when you're young, they tell you can do anything that you want. And this is true. It's just a matter of the effort and the work that you put into it. And then the other part of it too is that the longer that you stay in your comfort zone, it could lead to stress. It could lead to depression. It could lead to anxiety because you feel like you're stuck and you just feel like you don't have a purpose. And we all have a purpose in this life. I don't care whether you are the maintenance man that's been working for 20 years or if you're a CEO of a 500 Fortune company, it doesn't matter. We all have a purpose for being here. And if you don't step out of your comfort zone to find out what that purpose is, you're only just adding more stress and more depressive symptoms to yourself because you're in the same place. You're not changing your environment. You're not trying something new. You're not fulfilling the things that you want to do. So signs that you might be too comfortable, if I would say, if you really want to think about it for yourself, is that you have a lack of motivation, right? You know, are uninterested in pursuing new goals. You don't want to do anything different. You don't want to push yourself. And, you know, that could be, again, a symptom of depression, but that could be part of not wanting to get out of your comfort zone. The other thing is avoiding of challenges. You're consistently avoiding challenges because you feel like it's too much. A challenge is a challenge. It's going to be uncomfortable for you, but it is not impossible. Yeah, you might have to go through a lot of hoops and bounds and stuff like that. Stuff might not go the way that you want it to, but the whole point, if anything, you learn from these challenges and you'll be able to build off of whatever it is that you were to learn. You also have a feeling of disconnection, emptiness, right? You feel like something is missing, but you cannot put your finger on it. And, you know, for some people, they're too scared to go out or they don't know where to start when they have that feeling. And I try to tell people, you know, whether you are someone who's religious, you can use church. Whether you're just someone who needs a life coach, needs a therapist, whatever, they can help you to guide you. If you don't know what to do with your thoughts or where to go, or, you know, you have an idea, there's resources out there to be able to help you. But again, you have to get out of that comfort zone. You have to push yourself and know that you are good and you're going to be able to do these things. And even if you can't figure out in that moment, there are resources to help you and other people. A lot of the things that we have been through, somebody else has been through them too. They might not have talked about it, but we don't know. And until we say something and we try to figure it out, that's when other people will be able to talk about their stories. When it comes to your comfort zone, how do you overcome that? How do you move past that? What does that look like, right? So the first thing would be self-reflection. Reflect on your own comfort zone. What does that look like? Are you complacent? Do you feel like you want to do something but you're too scared? Is this something that you've been thinking about for a while but you just keep prolonging it? A lot of it comes from self-reflection. You have to be able to have that conversation with yourself, take the accountability that you've been trying to push things aside, and understand that, okay, I'm going to make a change now. And how do I do that as far as make the change? What does that mean, right? And so you're going to set small challenges. You don't want to overwhelm yourself stepping out of your comfort zone and just make these enormous goals that you know are possibly achievable, but it's going to take a long time to get there. You want to start with small challenges. So taking small steps out of your comfort zone, like trying a new hobby, traveling somewhere new, initiating a difficult conversation if that's something that you try not to do. I think starting there will help you get that feeling of what it feels like to be uncomfortable. And then once you're able to get that feeling, you learn how to regulate it and you process it and you do everything that you need to do. And then you're like, oh, I'm okay. I was able to actually go and do this thing and I'm fine. So now I feel like I can continue to do other things. The other thing would be to embrace having a growth mindset. You have to understand that we are forever growing. We don't know everything. Even the people that I see that are in their 70s, 80s, they are still learning from me. They're still learning from everybody around them. So you're not going to know everything. But I think if anything, making sure that you are understanding that you can't stay stagnant, you're going to always be growing and nobody is perfect, right? So you're going to be able to welcome challenges as opportunities for learning and for personal development. You're not going to take it as an attack. You're not going to feel scared. You're going to understand that having a growth mindset means that everything that I'm presented is a challenge for me and I am able to overcome it. And not only that, I can learn from it, even if I didn't overcome it or whatever the case may be. And the other thing would be make sure that you have a strong support system, not only just family, making sure that you have connections with friends, making sure that you have connections with people in your school and your work or whoever you have connections with. I think having an overall support system of people who can encourage you and help you to step out of your comfort zone and also hold you accountable. You want to make sure that you have people around you that also want to grow. You don't want someone that's going to keep pulling you back into that comfort zone of kind of just staying where you are. Make sure that you are surrounding yourself around the people that you essentially want to be with. Because that definitely affects how much you are going to do. It just depends on the people that you have around you. So make sure that you have a good support system and you have positive people around you that want to do the same thing. And then the other thing would be to practice mindfulness, self-compassion. Understand that growth takes time. You have to be kind to yourself navigating discomfort. It's not easy. It's not just a one go thing. You're going to be constantly uncomfortable, but you have to understand that that is what comes with just being a human being and growing. You're going to be uncomfortable and it's okay to be uncomfortable. Just make sure you have the right tools to deal with that uncomfortable, whether it's deep breathing or whether it's calling somebody in those moments and just having a talk with them, or if it's looking in the mirror and pumping your own self up and being your own self motivator. You have to learn coping skills that are going to help you navigate those moments, because when you get there that you'll have the right tools to be able to deal with it. And just understanding that growth takes time, and in between that time you're learning and you are growing within yourself, and you are going to be able to achieve these things. Essentially, to summarize it all, staying in your comfort zone can negatively affect your mental health. It stunts your growth, it increases anxiety, it increases depressive symptoms, and it leads to feelings of emptiness. You want to step out of your comfort zone so that you can personally grow in your life, in your relationships, in your workspaces, for fulfillment, for improved mental health. You don't know what you'll like until you get out there and do it. You may think that, oh, I will never enjoy skiing, until one day you decide to take a trip to a snowy place and there happens to be an opportunity for you to go and do it, and you're like, oh, I actually like doing this, so now I want to do this on the regular. But you won't know that until you go out and try. So you have to be able to push yourself and go out and try these things. And just remember that real growth really happens when you push yourself just out of what's comfortable, right? You have to embrace the discomfort for a healthier and more fulfilling life. You have to understand that, yeah, there's going to be moments when you are uncomfortable and you have to learn from things, but it's not the end of the world, and you're going to be able to get there. You have been through other hard things in your life, and you have also been uncomfortable in your life before. And so you have to understand that you are going to do it. And if you have the motivation within yourself and you have the drive to be able to get there, then you will get there. But if you don't, and you're not yourself motivated, motivated and you just sit around, you don't do anything, even if it's just one small step a day, you're actually growing in some sort of fashion. But if you don't do anything at all, you're not going to see any changes. And you want to fulfill your life and be happy. At the end of the day, you don't want to stay stagnant. So please work on getting out of your comfort zone. Use your resources and get the help, because you deserve it. So I appreciate you guys watching another video. Please join in on the conversation below, and I will continue to put the content out there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.